Hey y'all, Scott here, and... Whoops. I left this milk out for the past week, but I haven't opened it until now, so it's still brand new. It's probably fine. Holy shit, that was rotten, but how could it have been that way? It was new! New Super Mario Bros., a series plagued with the infamous nobody cares syndrome. It's a cavalcade of 2D Mario adventures that brought the series back into the mainstream. Everybody's played a new Super game, these things were in back in the day. But now most people look at these games and issue a cease and desist to Nintendo for making games they don't want anymore. It's not because they're bad games, far from it. They're designed incredibly well and control exactly how you'd like them to. It's just we got 4 of them in the span of 6 years. Now of course if you look back at the early days of 2D Mario platformers, that number isn't too awful crazy. Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, World, and Land came out within 5 years of each other. The difference is, each one of these games had their own identity in terms of visuals, sound, controls, difficulty, power-ups, design, length, the list goes on. These games could each stand on their own. The new Super Mario Bros. Series laughs in the face of this and did the same thing 4 times in a row. But let's be fair here, let me take a look at each of the new Super Mario Bros. Games and see how each of them are these days. The year is 2004, and with the Nintendo DS formally being unveiled to the public at E3, a prototype of a new 2D Mario game was thrown in there as well. The game was obviously still in very early development, but a brand new 2D Mario game was a big deal. Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins was the last 2D Mario game released all the way back in 1992. The only thing we got after that was Yoshi's Island, Wario Land, and the Super Mario Advance series, a series of 4 remakes of prior 2D Marios. New Super Mario Bros. Was initially conceived as the 5th in the Advance series, but later became its own thing entirely. On May 15th, 2006, New Super Mario Bros. Was released on the Nintendo DS to critical and commercial success. People went nuts for this thing. It was the first Super Mario Bros. Game in forever. It was fun and was on the hot handheld at the time. The DS was so popular, man. People would go to Walmart for some eggs and leave with 4 extra DSs. People were already eating it up with games like Nintendogs and Brain Age. You add a Super Mario Bros. Game to the mix, and not only do you lure in kids who never played a Mario game, but the older folk who played Mario back in the day. It was a phenomenon, but how does it hold up? New Super Mario Bros. Is very similar to previous 2D Mario games, but very different at the same time. It takes a little bit from every title, yet brings a lot new to the table. The story here is... wait for it. Yeah. To be fair, Bowser Jr. kidnaps Peach this time around and is, in my opinion, the main villain here. We only fight Bowser a few times, and the first time around he's cremated, just joshing you, his skin is melted off, haha! Other than that, standard stuff here. In terms of gameplay, it's a standard modernized Mario romp. You try to get to the end of the level. There are loads of secrets crammed in each stage though. The game was specifically designed to be played over and over again. There are 3 star coins placed in each stage, some easy to nab, some hard. The star coins can be exchanged for access to more pathways on the world map, whether that be to toad houses that give you extra lives and power-ups, or entirely new levels. Some stages also include secret exits which allow for alternate routes. None of this is new, this has all been in previous games, however they're applied extremely well in this game. Precursors to the star coins could be found in Super Mario World where they were dragon coins, and god I've devoted my life to figuring out what purpose those things had. Collecting all of them in a level gave you a 1-up and a slight feeling of Jesus Christ, why did I do that? The star coins are way more valuable, they actually have a purpose and are fun to collect. But nothing's fun to collect if the game isn't fun to control, and New Super Mario Bros. Feels really solid. They did something interesting here. They took how 3D Mario controls and implemented a lot of that in this 2D game. Mario now has a ton of moves he never had before in this dimension. He can ground pound, wall jump, triple jump. It feels so natural to let these rip, and they are excellent additions to Mario's 2D moveset. Now let's talk power-ups, a Mario series staple. The main ones you'll be seeing here are mushrooms to grow bigger and fire flowers to shoot fireballs. Sometimes you'll get an invincibility star or one of the 3 new power-ups introduced here that are, in my opinion, the Mega Mushroom, the headliner of New Super Mario Bros., allowing Mario to finally qualify for Ripley's Believe It or Not. You just absolutely demolish everything in your path. As a kid, I found this to be one of the coolest things ever. Now I get diagnosed with being underwhelmed every time I use it. It's really only in a few levels. It's just kind of an automatic win button. You just walk through a huge chunk of the stage, sometimes destroying pathways you need to access to nab star coins. It can be fun, but the Mega Mushroom is just the definition of a gimmick. On the complete opposite side of the power-up spectrum, the Mini Mushroom. This is considered a power-up? Mario anti-grows to go face-to-face with Pocket Change, and the only benefits from this power-up are Christin' on water, a floatier jump if you consider that a benefit, and access to secrets. It's actually the only way you can get to the 2 extra worlds in the game. You have to defeat 2 bosses as Mini Mario. I like the concept of this power-up, basically giving you access to extra areas in the world, but like I said, is this even a power-up? This is something you begrudgingly accept when you want to get somewhere specific in a level. I don't think anybody's ever gone, shit, is that a Mini Mushroom? And finally, this. the blue shell. This power-up definitely has its fans. I'm not one of them. It allows Mario to swim with ease and, I hate that Mario automatically goes into the shell while running. It turns the game into a migraine factory. I just want to run throughout the level, but instead Mario goes into the shell and now I have to deal with this. You ricochet off walls and it just hurts my feelings. I always pass up on the blue shell. The game is split into 8 worlds in total, but 2 of them are more so considered special worlds. If you make a beeline to the end of the game, you only go through 6 worlds. Now that makes the game sound significantly shorter than what you may want it to be, but in my opinion, for a DS game in 2006, this was a fine length. Sure, you can beat the game in around 6 hours or so, but you can milk this game for quite a long time. There's so many secrets to discover. You can find all the extra levels, get all the star coins, or play the greatest selection of minigames ever served. Yeah, we have to discuss these. As a little bonus, Nintendo included an array of touchscreen-based minigames that you can start playing the minute you pop the game in. The majority of these are ripped right from Super Mario 64 DS, but here they're available from the start. And man, these were the slickest back in the day. The minigames where you drew lines always impressed me. Like, you can draw these trampolines and they appear. Yes, this is all I needed back in 2006. Gambling played a key role in my childhood, so it was great to have a Luigi variant to play at whim. I always played this Bob-omb minigame though. You have to put the right colors in the right area. My color blindness never stopped me from having this much fun. Speaking of the touchscreen, New Super Mario Bros. Utilized it by showing your progress through the level, which I always appreciated. I wish more games did this. Also showcased was a power-up in reserve and the amount of star coins collected. Sometimes entering a pipe would throw the action on the bottom screen. I mean, I guess it's a cool effect, but doing this makes it so you can't use your item in reserve, which is kinda lame. Graphically and sound-wise, New Super Mario Bros. Is completely competent, but not too awful impressive. We have a mix of 2D sprites and 3D models, obviously, so everything runs smoothly on the DS. It looks fine, and honestly makes the game visually more interesting compared to future entries just because it looks more distinct. There's some decent tracks here in the sound department, but nothing that I'd consider amazing or anything, just completely passable and does the job. 8 worlds, a decent campaign, mini games, there's a competitive multiplayer mode here too. New Super Mario Bros. Was and still is a pretty solid package. But why isn't this generally looked at alongside the other 2D Mario triumphs? Back when it was first released, many reviewers lauded New Super Mario Bros. As a modern classic, a game that would be looked at in the same way as Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3 are today. However, many just don't talk about this one as much. Why? In my opinion, it's just how the game presents itself. New Super Mario Bros. Doesn't feel like a sequel or an evolution. It's just a new Super Mario game. Even looking at the box, it just screams, this ain't your grandpa's Super Mario, but has very little else to say. Everything looks exactly how you'd picture a new Super Mario Bros. Game to look. Of course, with the exception of Large in Charge over here. It's pretty much just another Super Mario Bros. Game. But another major key factor when considering why this game doesn't have the same staying power as the classics is what we'll be talking about next. At E3 2009, Nintendo officially unveiled New Super Mario Bros. Wii, or as they put it,
New Super Mario Bros. For Wii.
That really confused me at the time. Using the term 4 implied it was literally the DS game, but on the Wii. But nope, it was a whole new game, and now, for the first time, 4-player simultaneous multiplayer. It was always a disappointment to play Super Mario Bros. With a friend, hit 2-player, and realize that the game only allowed you to play after the other player dies. Nope, now you can all play at the same time. Of course, you can play as Mario and Luigi, but Nintendo apparently held a poll within the company to figure out what would be the lamest possible choices for a 3rd and 4th player character, and they came back with a yellow and blue Toad. I mean, sure, it makes sense. You have the 4 playable characters classified under 4 separate distinct colors. But at that point you may ask, well, why not make the other 2 characters Wario and Waluigi? That would be kinda cute and cool. But then you remember, no, they're bad guys. Nintendo can't possibly come up with a clever reason as to why Wario and Waluigi would help out Mario and Luigi. Yeah, if you haven't already noticed, Nintendo isn't too keen on giving these games interesting setups or even just clever ones. They always start off with the gang just hanging out and then bam, terrorism. Now the 7 Koopalings are back, the same guys from Super Mario Bros. 3 and World. Nowadays, they're often considered to be the culmination of laziness. Instead of designing something new or doing something interesting with the story or boss battle here, they're just throwing a Koopaling. But back then, it was really cool to see these characters brought back and as 3D models, redesigned for the modern era. The world map is much larger and more detailed. In fact, that's pretty much descriptive of the entire game. It's the same general formula from the DS entry, but expanded upon. Due to now having support for more players, being on a bigger widescreen display, and having power-ups that allow for vertical movement, New Super Mario Bros. Wii features a camera that's pulled farther back and larger levels in general. Graphically, the game received a pretty solid transition from DS to Wii, Of course, everything's much smoother, we have better animations, the works. It's disappointing that they didn't really take full advantage of the leap to a home console though. Not a ton about this game feels like it couldn't have been done on the DS. The art style is the same, the world design's the same, the overall aesthetic is the exact same. It just has higher quality models and assets and is running at a higher resolution. It's disappointing, but it was the first 2D Mario console game in about 2 decades. It's understandable to keep things a bit generic. Same goes with the soundtrack. We got some new tunes, but it still gives off the same vibe as the DS game. Bouncy, bubbly, generic Mario songs. That's not to say they aren't solid tracks again, but there's nothing that really resonates with me here. Except for the final boss theme, I really like that. Gameplay-wise, it's New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, except now you can spin jump by shaking the Wii remote. I gotta say, I hate shaking the Wii remote for this action. It just never felt responsive to me, and yeah, I think it's wholeheartedly a me thing. I know many others are perfectly fine with it. I just don't like it. The game is primarily played with the Wii remote on its side, but halfway through I tried it out with the Wii remote and nunchuck, and I gotta say, I think I prefer this control method. Shaking the entire controller to spin was never super intuitive to me, so splitting it up like this feels way better. Star coins return, but now you just collect them all to gain access to extra levels after beating the game. Yoshi makes a triumphant return, and he's good fun and all, but you can't bring him with you after beating a level, and yikes, how lame. Power-ups here are far better than the DS entry in my opinion. The only power-up from that game to make a return is the mini mushroom, and alongside the mainstay mushroom, fire flower, and star, we have 3 new ones. The Propeller Mushroom allows for vertical ascension and crazy quick descension. This one's pretty good. It's not amazing or anything, but I like it. The Ice Flower, the exact same idea as the Fire Flower, but you freeze things, and I can't believe it took them this long to implement a power-up like this. Sure, it appeared in Super Mario Galaxy, but its functionality in this game is different and great. It actually has advantages and disadvantages compared to the Fire Flower and makes you think as to which one you'd rather pick up. The ice can defeat enemies like Dry Bones who couldn't normally be defeated easily, but now you have extra work. You have to throw the ice block they're frozen in to finish them off. The Fire Flower can't defeat enemies like Dry Bones, but can defeat most enemies much quicker. I really like having these 2 power-ups here as alternatives to one another, but New Super Mario Bros. Wii also introduced the Penguin Suit, and honestly, what's the point of this anymore? Think of the Penguin Suit as a much more robust and competent version of the Blue Shell. You start to slide after running, but it's way easier to control, you can swim more easily, and you can shoot ice balls just like the Ice Flower. It was just really odd to me that they included both power-ups in this game. Like, why not take away the ice ball power from the Penguin Suit? That would have evened things out much better. The Penguin Suit was already pretty good without it. And of course, we have multiplayer, and yes, it can be a chaotic mess. It's pretty generally agreed upon that 2 players works fine, anything above that gets too wacky. It's still fun though, and if you want to just F around and go straight to the multiplayer, you have a free-for-all and coin battle mode for some competitive multiplayer mayhem. And that's about it for New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It's definitely an upgrade from New Super Mario Bros., but that's all it really feels like. An upgrade. It still features the same world themes, the same art style, the same basic feel, the same presentation, so much is the same here. I really do wish they took more advantage of the Wii hardware, but like I said, with this being the first 2D Mario platformer on a home console in so long, it's passable. The Nintendo 3DS was unveiled at E3 2010, and later that year in November, Shigeru Miyamoto stated that the 3DS would feature both 3D and 2D Mario games. A year later, after the release of a 3D Mario game, Super Mario 3D Land, Satoru Iwata officially announced that a 2D Mario game would be released for the system. Many were hoping it would be Super Mario Bros. 4, as Nintendo recently registered the domain name supermario4.com, even though Super Mario World was considered Super Mario Bros. 4 in Japan. It was at this point I feel like many people were getting a bit tired of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. During E3 2011, Nintendo unveiled the Wii U console to a collective okay. And alongside it, they showed off a new Super Mario Bros. Game entitled New Super Mario Bros. Me. It was literally New Super Mario Bros. Wii in HD, and you could play as Mii's. Not the greatest first impression for a brand new HD home console. Showing it off with a 2D Mario game that looks so similar to the last one is the definition of underwhelming. Especially considering New Super Mario Bros. Wii didn't push the Wii's hardware. What made them think this would get anybody excited? But it was just a tech demo showing off a traditional Mario game in HD and how the Wii U gamepad could display the same image as the TV screen. However, this tech demo really hit home how samey the games were feeling, and it didn't help at all that 2012 was the year we got 2 new Super Mario Bros. Games within a few months of each other. New Super Mario Bros. 2 was officially announced in a Japan-only Nintendo Direct in April of 2012. Yeah, the Wii one wasn't the true sequel. This is where things really starting. I initially thought that the game would take some inspirations from Super Mario Bros. 2, whether that be the Japanese or American version. But in reality, it's not New Super Mario Bros. 2,
it's New Super Mario Bros. 2. The main selling point of the game Nintendo was highlighting was announced at E3 2012, the sheer abundance of coins, asking everybody to take up the challenge of getting 1 million coins in the game. Honestly, leading up to the game's release, it felt like they might actually be switching things up. Sure, the trailers looked like it was just another new Super Mario Bros. Game, but this focus on coins could lead to the game being much more than just another new Super Mario Bros. Game. It was just another new Super Mario Bros. Game. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is one of the most derivative, play-it-safe games in the Mario series. The amount of new ideas at work here can easily be counted on at the very most 2 hands. There's not a lot here, and that's not to say it's poorly made or bad. It's just everything here has been done to death before, and it's really not too interesting. The coin mechanic is front and center, but doesn't play into the gameplay at all. There's just a lot more coins than usual, and there's a coin counter that's always here. Why not do something interesting with this setup? Why not explain the crazy amount of coins? Why not have a shop to use the coins? The coins are completely superfluous. There's no point to there being so many of them. And of course, the age-old question, can you get 1 million coins, requires the loss of countless friends and social activities, but lo and behold, you get a different title screen when you hit it. I missed my uncle's funeral for this. Weirdly enough, this is the only new Super Mario Bros. Game that doesn't feature Bowser Jr., just the Koopalings. Other than that, if you dug the DS game, well, there's more of it. Power-ups are pretty fun in this entry though, of course Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Star, but the Mini and Mega Mushroom return. The Mega Mushroom is even more useless than what it was in the DS original, but whatever. The Gold Flower is the only brand new power-up here, and it turns anything it touches into gold. You lose it after the level's over, but overall it's a pretty satisfying power-up. But guys, Racoon Mario from Super Mario Bros. 3 returns, hooray! It works just like it did back in the day. You can fly and bat things with your tail. It's nice to have this back. And if you blow way past hard and die enough times in a level, the invincibility leaf appears, giving you an indestructible version of Racoon Mario unless you fall down a pit. Some blocks, if you continually hit them, will get stuck on your head and turn gold. Keep running to rack up the coins. We also have gold rings, which temporarily turn everything into money-making machines. The game features 2-player co-op and coin rush mode, which throws you in 3 levels where you have a limited amount of time to get as many coins as possible. There's also DLC for Coin Rush mode, which consists of new levels to play exclusively in this mode. Overall, I'd say New Super Mario Bros. 2 is most comparable to junk food. I feel guilty for enjoying it, but I gotta be honest. The coins are really satisfying to get in this game, the courses are well designed, I like the power-ups, the controls are rock solid. This is a good game, but man, they couldn't even be bothered to make something original? Staying true to the series is one thing, but New Super Mario Bros. 2 goes too far. I don't think the game features even one piece of original music, and looks-wise, once again, it's the same presentation as Wii in the original. I played this game so much back in the day, but even back then, I considered this one a bit of a guilty pleasure just because of how derivative it is. And then, only a few months later, we got New Super Mario Bros. U. Miyamoto let slip that a Mario game for Wii U would be talked about at E3 2012 in April of that year, and it was confirmed they would be based off of New Super Mario Bros. Me, ugh! Apparently, New Super Mario Bros. U took 3 years to develop.
Really?
The game released in November of 2012 as a launch title for the Wii U. Setup-wise, they actually switched things up. Instead of kidnapping Princess Peach, Bowser takes over her castle and throws Mario and gang all the way to No Man's Land, i.e. Acorn Station. The world map is interconnected, similar to Super Mario World, where it's just one big map. All the worlds connect to each other. It's alright, it's not that crazy cool and as big of a deal as many people made it out to be when the game initially released. The fact that the game still maintains the same aesthetic as the other games kinda devalues the new world map. It doesn't really feel like a huge world. Power-ups wise, we only have one new one, the Super Acorn, transforming you into Flying Squirrel Mario. It's definitely different from any other flying or gliding power-up in the past. Here you just get a burst of vertical movement, can cling onto walls and glide. And I like this one. It's different, but is one of my go-to power-ups in this game. All the power-ups from New Super Mario Bros. Wii return here, with the Mini Mushroom having the added benefit of running up walls. And Yoshi's back as well, alongside the reintroduction of Baby Yoshis from Super Mario World. However, the 3 colors featured in the game all have different abilities. Pink can become a giant balloon, blue can create bubbles, yellow can glow in the dark, and all have an insatiable appetite. Unlike Yoshi, Baby Yoshis can be taken with you from level to level, which is odd. I don't see why they can come with you, but Yoshi can't. Randomly, this abomination appears. Nabbit. He's a bandit rabbit, that's adorable. You have the option to chase him down in specific levels if you feel like it, which is a nice little side thing to do if you're into that sort of thing. The game retains the multiplayer from New Super Mario Bros. Wii in all of its glory/horror, however you can now add a 5th player using the Wii U gamepad to add blocks on the screen to give everybody an extra boost, and yes, it's as useless as it sounds. Graphically, the game looks great. It has a ton of polish and looks incredibly distinct from the rest of the series. I've been using footage from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Yeah, the game's incredibly polished, it looks decent, game, but man, they could have done so much more. Like I illustrated, it looks way too similar to the entry on Wii to be considered anything to get excited over. For God's sakes, this was the first Mario game in HD. I think the franchise deserved a bit more of a special introduction to this resolution. And yes, I'm obligated to talk about this stage because everybody has to say, ooh, look at this stage, why didn't the rest of the game look like this? And I wholeheartedly agree. Sound-wise, it's the same as all the other new Super Mario Bros. Games. None of the themes stick out. Too much music is reused. Just generic happy bubbly Mario music. However, I do have to say, I really loved how World 8's theme is a more dramatic take on the Peach's Castle theme from Mario 64. That is a nice touch. New Super Mario Bros. U features a few extra modes, a few of which you can play as your Mii, and my bucket list just got eviscerated with this feature. We have Challenge Mode, which is something that should have been in the series since the Wii entry, but it's nice to have something like this. A lot of the challenges are well thought out and creative. I really like having this mode here. There's Boost Rush Mode, where you try to get through an auto-scrolling level as quickly as possible. Grabbing coins makes the stage scroll faster, but also makes it harder to traverse because of it. Again, a decent extra mode. I prefer Challenge Mode though. Coin Battle makes a return, allowing you to actually edit coin placement with Wii U Gamepad. Wow. And that's New Super Mario Bros. U. It's New Super Mario Bros. Wii in HD. Man, I remember this game feeling a lot more original, a breath of fresh air for the new Super Mario Bros. Series, if you will. I guess I let those new console jitters get the best of me. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good game, but I don't know, out of all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, this one left me feeling the most empty. The extra modes are fun and has some cool new ideas, but I think the fact that it has some cool new ideas but doesn't really do anything with them is what kills it for me. Like, think about it. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was the first home console 2D Mario in forever. It introduced a few new fun power-ups and 4-player multiplayer, brought back Yoshi and the Koopalings. New Super Mario Bros. U is Wii again, but the things it introduces are far less compelling. It introduces one new power-up and adds one player to the mix who just adds blocks. Baby Yoshis are here! New Super Mario Bros. 2 is far less original, but at least there was more of a definitive leap from the DS entry to it. New Super Mario Bros. U received $20 DLC in June of 2013 entitled New Super Luigi U. It also received a standalone physical release later that August for $30. This is a remixed New Super Mario Bros. U, but with Luigi as the main character. He has the same floatier jump and slipperier feet that we all know him for. The world map, cutscenes, everything is the same except for the level designs. Those have all been redone to accommodate Luigi's playstyle, and they're way harder, but they're also way shorter, being around half the length and having a time limit of 100 seconds. Honestly, I preferred this game to New Super Mario Bros. U. The shorter, more difficult levels are way more refreshing and different compared to the other games in the series, and Luigi's physics make the game more interesting. Once you beat the game, you can hit the Mario block at the beginning of a level to turn on Mario's physics, which make Luigi way easier to control, but makes it harder to traverse the level. These levels were truly designed for Luigi. With Mario missing from the adventure, who is the fourth playable character? Instead of being total squares and adding a third toad or something, Nintendo decided to do something interesting and make it Nabbit. He can't take damage, he can only die by getting crushed, falling down pits, going down lava, all that stuff. But he also can't use power-ups, he just collects them. I know exactly why they did this, because Nabbit was already a model in the game, but they didn't want to create too many new animations for him or design what he would look like with power-ups. Whatever, it's still kinda cool he's playable. New Super Mario Bros. U would reappear in Super Mario Maker as a game theme you could choose, and its graphics would be reused in Super Mario Run, Mario's first romp on mobile devices. Can I just say I really like this game? Sure, it's super generic and whatnot, but for a Mario game on my phone, it's basically exactly what I wanted, just quick bite-sized junk food gaming. And that is the new Super Mario Bros. Series as of now. Yes, they have great level designs, yes, they control great, yes, they're good games. But my god, they're bland! The first game on DS, great return to form. The follow-up on Wii, made sense, brings it to a home console, brings back a ton of series staples, adds in 4 players. The 3DS one of the most unoriginal Mario games ever. The Wii U one of the most underwhelming Mario games ever. They all use the same godforsaken art style, the same generic music, the same level design tropes, the same formats, the same thing over and over again. The fact they were released a few years apart and very little change between them, my god, if they released yearly, I would get it. It would make sense that little would change, but there was a 3-year gap between Wii and U, and this is all they did? These elements of the series ensure these games will never live up to the original 2D games, sadly. I think I speak for everybody when I say they better shake things up with this series.
All in all, the new Super Mario Bros. Series aren't bad games.